So, I am Duncan Reid, and over there in Dusseldorf is Vom Ritchie, and we've known each other for, crikey, I don't know how long now. It must be about 20 years, is it?
Yeah, probably. Actually, I always add a bit on because I'm always bad with time. If I say, oh, yeah, I've known you for 10 years, it normally turns out to be 25 years or something.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was when the boys got back together because you were playing, but we'll come on to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I've made an effort. I'm all fluffy and clean. It's
It makes a change.
I thought I'd have a shower. It's my first since lockdown, but, you know, I'm quite relieved, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I made you clean.
Yeah, you always bring out the best in me, Duncan.
It's not what you said before.
No,
but anyway, I've been to your parents' house where you grew up, and I think we grew up in pretty similar areas because both sort of outside London and within shooting distance of London. You grew up in Essex, didn't you?
Yeah, Stamford-le-Hope, and yeah, intra-central London. It was probably an hour and 20 minutes on a good, so a bit outside, but reachable.
Yeah, and I grew up in Kent, in Canterbury, which is about 60 miles from London, but really another world, really. Another world, really.
Yeah.
People very rarely went to London.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had no choice being where we were for concerts and stuff. There was just nothing. Well, unless we did it ourselves, which we did a lot of that, there was just nothing going on, you know. And it was a really tricky situation with the trains, just getting the last one back and stuff like that. And there's been loads of times where I missed that. But yeah, it was a bit out of the way, but, you know.
So I'm going to try and share a picture of you as a youngster, if I can work out how to bloody share something.
Well, I hope you can't.
So, but how did you get into punk?
Right. Well, just saw the Janet Street Porter interview thing on, what was it? It was like on a Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. What was that? It was a show that was on there. Oh my God. And it was just they did a special about punk, and I was just like, well, I really like the look of that. That looks good. That looks exciting. And it was pretty much instantaneous, you know. And then sort of got a band going pretty much straight away, you know, and the Miracle Babies.
And then how long was it before you ended up in Doctor and the Medics?
Ooh, that was just after the first incarnation of Crisis split up. So that would have been around 81, 82.
Oh, so it's when it was all over.
Yeah, because, well, it's never really been over, has it? But there wasn't a lot going on. And I actually saw New Year's Day, the Medics play in Queen's Hotel in Southend, or Westcliff. And I was just blown away by it. It was just really fun, really exciting, and I really liked what they was doing. So just started going to a few shows and talked them into getting me to play for them. And actually asked Clive, who used to spend a lot of time, you know, the doctor in Southend at that time, and he came to see this other band I was in called The Final Episode at the very same venue. And he walked up to me afterwards and said, "You're in the band." Before that, he didn't really take me very seriously. It's been this like little punk rocker sort of steaming about everywhere. And he asked me to join, and that was that, you know, so. Jesus, so you know that when you die, it's gonna recommend you to the spirit in the sky. To the spirit in the sky. That's where you're gonna go when you die. When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the best. And that gets around to a question for you as well, Duncan.
What's that then?
When did you first join the boys? When did you meet up with the boys, and how old were you?
Well, it was 1976. I just moved to London and got a job in a t-shirt printing factory where John Plain, get this, was the manager.
Duncan, there's a lot of things that, you know, I've believed before what you've said, but that's out of the question.
He seriously was. He was the boss for me and Jack, who was the drummer and I went to school with.
Oh yeah,
and
I know Jack.
He would just get stoned all day, although we all got stoned all day, but there was this sort of platform and he just chucked things at us. But anyway, he learned that Jack played the drums and I played the bass, and he said, do you want to come round to this place on where we all get together on a Sunday and just play? And I went there, and there was a load of people who I didn't know, but would later turn out to be Mick Jones from The Clash. There was Steve Jones from the Pistols used to drop by, Brian James sometimes, Billy Idol, Tony James in Generation X, except nobody was in a band at the time. There was no bands.
Yeah.
And it was Matt Dangerfield's studio, little 4-track thing.
That's
right. Was hooked up to the electricity directly from the lamp post outside, so it was nicking the electricity.
Wasn't it Denmark Street or something? Wasn't that?
No, it was in Maida Vale in Warrington Crescent, 47A Warrington Crescent. It should have a blue plaque on it, really, because you know, it was a really important place in terms of how things started.
Yeah,
and because nobody could really play, we'd play the intro. Do you know "Slow Death" by the Flaming Groovies?
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Well, we'd play that for about 4 hours at a time.
That's
the one.
Yeah.
And out of that, I used to go up there quite often, and we'd sit around drinking tea all day, playing hearts. And then out of it, the boys started, especially when Cass started going round.
Well, you know, Matt, that was quite legendary, that tape machine that Matt had at the time. I don't know if it was a good one or if it was the only one, but
it was the only one. You know, it was the only studio that people could go in, a little 4-track studio. But they used to do some really good stuff. It was his flat with Barry Jones, who was later in the London Cowboys with Steve Dior. And they used to just record anybody who'd turn up, really.
Was it in a house or was it in a basement?
A flat.
Studio?
The studio was a sort of coal bunker at the end of a house, but underground. It was like under the pavement. And in this place, because it was a basement flat and the Bakerloo line went underneath, every 4 minutes the whole place rumbled.
I used to
as the tube trains went underneath.
It was one of those in London Bridge where, you know,
yeah, you sort of be vibrating away as you're playing, you know. Yeah, the drums would sort of bounce out the door. You know?
Come back. Brilliant.
So that's how it started. And when we started, we wanted to just be like a 60s group. And we were doing a lot of, you know, we're doing Stones covers. We even did, oh God, what was his bloody name? One of those American crooners. We did sort of Can't Get Used to Losing You or something.
All right.
And yeah, and Who and Kinks and Small Faces. And then it just changed when we saw the Ramones.
Right, yeah.
You know,
just the Roundhouse.
Yeah, well, I saw them first in Croydon.
Oh.
They're playing with Talking Heads. Talking Heads were supporting.
Wow.
And then we thought, well, you know, it's pretty similar to what we were doing. So we thought, we'll just speed up.
Yeah.
And but what we still bought was all of that sort of 60s harmonies, you know, that Beatles type harmonies that Matt and Cass especially were really good at. And we'd all be singing. We spent ages trying to find a singer because although there was 5 of us, we were looking for a singer because originally Andrew Matheson was going to be the singer, but he said, I'm just going to Canada for a week to see my family, and never came back. And there were various people auditioned, but most of them were too tall.
Right.
And then I started, it was one night just fooling around. sort of miming to an Elvis Presley song. And Ken Mears, the manager, said, "Oh no, look, he looks really good. He's got to be you, Duncan. You got to be the singer." So the bass was taken off me at first and given to John. But eventually we just decided we'd do a sort of Beatles thing and I'd share their singing with Matt.
Yeah, no, it worked.
And off we went.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, how was you surviving at that time? You know, I mean, was you studying or was you? Oh, you was working at the T-shirt factory.
Well, I left there, but I made a mistake when I went to the Dole office, and I should have said I got the sack, but I said I'm leaving. So they gave me £5 and 5 pence a week, and my dad was charging me £5 rent.
All right.
So I had 5 pence to live on for the week.
I was going to say you was too honest in those days, but you all changed that when you become an accountant, so that was all right.
But I did go to university for a day.
Wow. What was that, to sign up?
Yeah, I did. I went to sign up, but I had a look and said, "Oh, I don't like this." And I went home and told my dad, who was really pleased.
I bet. Chuffed to bits.
He said, "Oh, you've left university because you want to be a punk." Yep. So I moved out a little while later and moved in with John, where he gave me this hovel at the front that didn't even have a carpet. Oh, and I lived there until I met Liz, who is my current wife.
Right. It's lasted a few years as well.
It has lasted a few years, yeah. Yeah, we've had a good innings.
Brilliant.
But, so you were on with Docs and Medics. You're on Top of the Pops and everything. 5 times,
yeah, I think.
5 times, yeah.
Oh, good.
And so you knew all the Jimmy Savile stories. They were even circulating back then, weren't they?
Yeah, one of the shows. Well, we didn't do any of the shows with Jimmy Savile. Did a couple with Dave Lee Travis. I think there was a Kid Jensen one, a John Peel one, and God, I've forgotten the name of a lot of the DJs now. But I didn't notice anything going on like that. You know, obviously, it was really weird doing Top of the Pops. You had like this, like, they reminded me of like temporary classrooms, the changing rooms, the dressing rooms. We just had one sink with cold water in the corner and just bare old plastic chairs. And that was it. There's no glamour involved at all, you know.
Yeah.
And then what you used to do, they used to give you these meal tickets to go up to the canteen to you know, allow you to have something to eat, where everybody stared at you thinking, what are they doing in our canteen? You know, it was all a bit cliquey there. And you always had dodgy guts afterwards. And you know, even the bar, the BBC bar, was a bit weird. You had to really behave yourself in there. Well, most of the time we did, but
well, you had to behave yourself with the BBC in general, didn't you? Because we had one fan who went round London spraying our name in graffiti everywhere. So the stupid sod did it on the BBC. So they thought we'd done it and wouldn't play our records ever again. So it was
no, you had to. And also, if you was like, you couldn't be late. If you was like a minute late or 5, whatever, that was it. You know, they just say, no, you're not doing it. You're not doing the program. So
yeah,
really strict.
I met John Peel once because I was in the Speakeasy and I saw him there and he'd been playing us a lot. So I went over and said, "Oh, hello, thanks for playing our records." And he was really quite shy. He told some very funny Tony Blackburn stories.
All right.
And then the next night he said, "Oh, it was nice to meet him. I'm sorry I bored you so much." And he didn't bore me at all. Just well, a little bit insecure, I think.
When I first met him, he came up and gave me a rose, and I said, "Oh," he said, "Yeah, there was a girl who came running up to me and said, 'Do you know the drummer from Doctor and the Medics? You know, can you please give him this rose from me?'" Which, as John Peel came up and went, "I think this is for you." It was just given to me by the gate.
Yeah,
I thought, "Oh, my hero, John Peel, is giving me a rose." It was fantastic. But no, I mean, I used to be a regular listener to John Peel. I mean, I loved his show and got me into so much stuff. Yeah, that was brilliant. And then he was every night of the week, wasn't he? Then he got cut down to like 3 nights, and he ended up getting cut down to 1 in the end, or something stupid like that. But very entertaining.
Yeah, it was 10 till midnight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So another pretty legendary thing you ended up being involved in was that I think it was Steve Bater's Dee Dee and Johnny Thunders in Paris that lasted about 2 minutes, didn't it?
Well, Dee didn't last that long. He got sent home for bad behaviour. I haven't got time to really go into that now, but I turned up and it was like Neil X was kind of holding the whole thing together. Really, he ended up playing bass on the album and a lot of second guitars actually, because when Thunders turned up, he was in no real fit state to play much guitar really, but was great in being there, you know. And Chris, obviously played from the Godfathers, he played guitar. Me, Chris, and Neil was practically the band, and Steve, of course, you know. And but yeah, I mean,
what was Steve like? Was he together?
Totally, really,
oh, really?
really together. I saw him drink one beer on the whole session, and that was on the last day. And he was really trying to make another go of it. You know, he was really into it. I mean, it was a good band. We worked well together. I was in a band called the Brotherland with Chris anyway, so we worked together and we, you know, knew what we was doing as a team. And Neil's just a fantastic guitar player, and you know, he can brilliant at bass as well. And you never really get that when you think of ZZ Sputnik in a way, but they was all very good. Well, him and, you know, Tony and stuff, and that was all good, you know.
Johnny Thunders was always a really nice bloke. He used to run into him quite a bit, and he played on stage with the boys once. He came on at the Marquee for an encore and just played some amazing guitar throughout it. When he was together, he was just amazing. Incredible.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of the, you know, the Heartbreakers and some of his solo shows were just fucking unbelievable, just brilliant, you know.
The Heartbreakers were just fantastic live. They blew everybody away when they first arrived in London. Everybody, Johnny went down to see them. You know, Johnny Thunders is there, and you could see everybody, you know, from the Clash, Generation X, the boys, standing around, and go, "Oh shit, we better up our game now," because they like all those New York bands. They came in and they were bang, 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 bang.
Yeah,
Jerry Nolan was the first one to flail his arms. He put his arms up all the time. And we went back the next rehearsal with Jack and got the pliers and put his cymbals up really high so that he had to do it as well to play the cymbals. But they were just so shit hot. But they never really progressed, you know, probably because, you know, they were being naughty all the time. They didn't really move on, I didn't think.
No, I think the gallons of cough medicine didn't.
Yeah, no, that's what held them back. And Dee Dee was odd as well. He was so bloody miserable. When we toured with the Ramones, he was always complaining about everybody everywhere not being America.
It was really intense. You know, it's difficult to get him on a light footing sort of thing. You know.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a happy soul, that's for sure.
No, but yeah, I mean, that album, it never really got. But it's been released a couple of years ago. I think they did a release of it, but what wasn't what was planned. But then Steve died before the mixing was even completed. You know, so
yeah. And how did you get involved with Ian Hunter?
Well, good question. I think because mostly John and Cass put me forward, you know. I really enjoyed that album, you know. I mean, the result of it anyway came out really good. But I thought finally someone's got my drums sound right, because in the Medics, you know, it was taken away. Our really first rocky mix of that album was taken away, and just like the drums were put through some sort of, I don't know what they did to the drums on that album, and it just sounded awful. The voices were all good. He just wanted a commercial hit album. He didn't want a psychedelic rock band. And I listened to it the other day, and it just sent me into that spiral of despair again. It was just like the worst thing, the worst hit that I'd ever had when they played me that finished mix of the album. Because Craig Leon recorded it, you know, from Blondie and the Ramones, and basically Miles Copeland took him away and made him remix it under extreme duress, and everything was put through some sort of weird thing, and it just sounded awful. So and that was the first time when the Ian Hunter album, it was like, whoa, yeah, someone's got the drum sound right, you know. So that was a pleasure to hear that.
So Cass put you forward. Was that before or after you toured with him? With Cass?
Well, no, it probably wasn't Cass, and it was probably John, you know. But I toured with Cass because of the Crybabies. I was in the Crybabies, and then we did a tour, Casino Steel and the Crybabies, and then it just seemed like there was me, Daryl, and John and Cass, so it seemed like it was a team ready to go, you know.
You seem to spend the whole tour terrorising Cass, from what he said.
Well, you know, he thought I was trying to terrorise him, but it was just me being me. It was nothing personal against Cass. You know,
there's that brilliant story where he said he's about on the 10th floor of a hotel. He opens the hotel windows and there's you hanging on by your fingernails outside the window.
Yeah, no,
let's have it.
Actually, swinging from a tree, wrapped up in toilet roll, naked. That was my picture. But Cass would never let me know what room number he was, and he insisted on, in the contract, which was funny, is he had to be at least 2 or 3 floors away from me. That was in the contract. But no, you know, I mean, but we still did great shows, you know, and so I think that's what Cass really wanted. You know, he made out he was all offended and stuff, but I think he liked it really. But
so how did you end up in Germany?
That was during a Brotherland tour with Chris Dollymore, and I met, you know, a big fan of the Godfathers was a woman called Monique and her sister, and they followed them around everywhere. And so when I came over, she wanted to go on the tour with her sister and follow us around, and ended up sort of, you know, having a relationship with her in the end. So then I went back to the UK and everything went wrong. You know, I couldn't afford to pay my house anymore because the interest rate went up every week or month for a year. And it was like double my budget and I couldn't afford it. So I had to let the house go. And then Monique said, come and live with me, you know. So I went, oh, all right. And actually I live just around the corner now from where that first flat was. And that was 30 years ago now. So
30 years you've been living in Dusseldorf.
Yeah.
And then you got the job as drum roadie for Die Totenhosen.
Yeah. Well, it started off, you know, I was having some sort of idea lessons with Wully about roles and stuff like that. And we started like working together on some drum arrangements for that Zealand Therapy EP, which came out before Opium for Folk. And it was just like, it went from that to, oh, would you like to double up as backliner? Because Wully was having a problem with his arm. He didn't, luckily, on any of the shows, but there was the worry that it might go weird and he couldn't play the show. So I had to learn all the songs. So I was there, never played one of those shows, so carried on with the roadie thing. And then Wully just he just said, oh, it's time for me to leave. You know, I'm not fit enough anymore, really, and I don't want to hold the guys back. And so the job just came to me. So I was in the right place. Amazing, because
I mean, everybody in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Argentina will know Die Totenhosen, and I'll just play a clip, sort of, for everybody in the UK and the US or wherever they are, just to show how bloody huge Die Totenhosen are.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. After all these years, it's still
decades. Been huge for decades.
Well, it's 40-year anniversary next year.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I mean, because I've played on stage with you lot. I think it's about 4 times now. I think, and came over to stay with you that Christmas. Do you remember?
Yeah,
there was snow everywhere. Came over with Liz and Lauren, and didn't realise you were doing about 15 nights in this bloody great arena with 15,000 seats.
Eight nights that was.
8 nights, yeah, in a bloody great place. And I've got, it's not a very good quality clip, but I've got a clip because the band said to me, "Oh, I didn't realise you were going to be here. Come up and we'll play first time."
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember this. I got up on stage,
yeah.
and it went really well. And then at the end, you had, looking at the video clip now, the drum riser doesn't seem that big, but at the time it seemed really high.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to get up there and do the rock star bit, jump off. And I did jump off and went flat on my face. Front of about 15,000 people. I look up, you're grinning like you are now, looking down me with the sticks, laughing your head off.
Yeah, I enjoyed that moment.
Well, luckily, I said to Liz afterwards, "Can you see me fall over like a prat?" Oh, I thought you did it deliberately, so that was all.
No, it did look good. It looked like he was right in the mood, and it looked very rock and roll. I think if I hadn't have got up and pointed at you and went, I think we got away with it.
Oh, God, it was funny.
It was.
But that was after we'd first met, because after not playing music for 17 years, we got an offer to go to Japan, which was the first time that me and Matt wanted to get the boys together. It wasn't to play, but was to go to Japan. And Jack was had a bad back by that time, so you got the job.
Story of my life, getting in drummers who got bad backs, taking over. That was my little forte, But,
I remember meeting you for the first time. This little shy little kid came up, and you played. And of course, you were great. And then John said to me quietly, "You wait until he has a drink. He's an animal." And then I was looking at you, thinking, "Dad, don't be daft. Look at him." And the first time we were in Japan after the first show, and in a restaurant, and you'd had some sake. And next thing I know, I'm looking at a naked you running around the restaurant, being chased by 2 Japanese waiters.
Oh yeah, because I turned the karaoke machine up to 11 and stopped around the table. Yeah, he wasn't very happy about that. It
was like something out of Benny Hill, with you running around naked and 2 waiters going, no. And it's been the same ever since, basically.
Yeah, actually, when we was a guy came around here today on the subject of the boys, who gave me his wedding video to have a listen to with where the boys played. you know how many songs that was 18 songs we played at that wedding.
Oh God, that was amazing, because we were due to play in Essen, and we were flying over, and we didn't play that much, did we? So we always needed a run through.
Yeah.
And, you said, "Oh, I've got a problem. I've been invited to a wedding on the day of our run through." And we went, "Oh no, that's a problem." And then you gave us a shout and said, "I've sorted it." And we thought you sorted it to take an hour out of the wedding. And instead we turn up and we're playing at the wedding as a rehearsal.
Fantastic. It's really good. I just had a quick, brief look on a couple of tracks, and it's quite something. So
we bung one of those up. It was a brilliant night. I mean, it was overlooking the Rhine, wasn't it? And
sick on you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
play a clip of the boys, I think headlining, is it Punk and Disorderly in Berlin? There's a really good clip of it with that bloke from, I think it's Diarza who came on. Diarza. We borrowed his rehearsal studio in Berlin.
Yeah, no, that was the Beatsteaks.
Beatsteaks, that's it. Yeah.
Band. They're still going. They're still doing. They just released a little sort of mini album thing, which is really good, and they're still doing well. And it's his first. Just a bathroom, but it was alone. She said, it's the first time, please be kind, don't hurt me, I didn't know what to say. Looking those big brown eyes, they were tears she tried to hide. She said, it's my first night. Please be kind, don't hurt me, felt so happy. We felt so fine to think I'll ever forget the time. She said, it's my first time. Please be kind. Don't hurt me. It's the first time.
We always had a good time, didn't we? Both on stage and off, because it was always sort of gelled pretty well.
What's that? With who?
With you.
Oh yeah,
me and you playing together. It was always
definitely. Yeah, no. I love the energy of the rhythm section, and I don't want to blow smoke up her ass, but it worked really well, and it was disappointing when it all come to an end, really. But who knows?
Yeah. But another a good little project we had was the Mattis Boys.
Yeah, that was good, and I really enjoyed that show in Southend, Bar Lamb, Westcliff.
Yeah,
that could have possibly been the last one that we did.
It probably was. I've got a clip. I went on YouTube and I got a clip of us. I think it's the first one we did in Kilburn, in that funny place, the ship something, where the stage is like a pit.
Oh, yeah, that's where.
Good Ship or something, isn't it?
Yeah, the ship. I think you organised that one, and then we had the one up in Derby.
Yeah.
With Give, and then we did that Bar Lamb thing, which was really packed. I remember my sister, Dawn and Glenn, and my two nephews turning up and really enjoying it. So,
and you organised one in Dusseldorf as well, in the pub around the corner, a secret one.
Oh,
we played first, and then the boys played.
Yeah, it was called the Bootchen, which means the little boat, the Bootchen.
And it had a sort of bowls thing, didn't it? Skittles thing in it.
Downstairs in the dressing room, yeah. Yeah, that was brilliant. Upstairs was shaped like a boat. That's why it was called the Little Boat. But that closed down as well now. It's a real shame. That was the place where Crisis got back together again after 30 years or something. We played our first show there, which was sold out, which was just great. And so many of these little venues, they pop up and then they disappear. And it's such a shame because some of them are really good.
The Matters Boys album was a really important album for me because it just started me writing. In the first period of the Boys, I just couldn't write, and then it started out as about John's 75th solo album, didn't it? And he'd run out of songs, so Steve Metcalf asked me if I'd have a go at writing some, and so I had a go. I wrote one with you as well called Speeding.
Oh yeah.
Play a little clip of that.
Faces, non-stop races, never felt so right. 5 a.m. wind in your hair, no one sleeps tonight. We're all here and in the mood, no one's going home. Come along and just join in, don't stay home alone. We're speeding, speeding through the night. We're speeding, everything's alright. We're speeding out of sight. We're speeding, rip it up tonight.
That used to be a Spittin' Vickers song called the Zeelof, about a pub. I wrote that about a pub. And then, of course, you changed the lyrics and away we went. But that actually got played in the Fortuna ground just before a football game.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so it was really cool. I've still got the clip of that somewhere. But they played
it's really
it.
good. It's a really good song.
Yeah, it's really fun to play.
I played it on a show with Gary Crowley here in London. He really liked it as well.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
But, as I say, it started me writing, and from there I couldn't really stop.
Yeah. Got the bug.
And then when I left the Boys, you had a really important influence as well, because I was a bit of a loose end, but I was writing these songs, and I'd send the demos over to you, and you were a real big source of encouragement, because I get these excited emails back saying, oh yeah, I like that one as well, that's really good. I've been playing them down the bar and everybody likes them. And you probably don't know how important that was for me.
Well, I'm glad, I'm glad the bar had some positive things coming out of it. The bar was great because you could just put stuff on and people, you'd know if it was good because everyone would kind of stop talking and just go, oh, right, yeah. So it was a great tester down in the bar. And then people started requesting the songs to be played over and over. And then you knew it was good. Yeah. It was going to go somewhere. So, yeah, I do miss that bar.
Oh yeah, no, the Drumming Monkey, it was brilliant.
The Drumming Monkey bar. That was Matt who came up with that name.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, we put all the names into a hat and juggled them up. And then
it's probably the smokiest bar I've ever been in because it was completely illegal, wasn't it?
That was awful.
And you couldn't have the window open because the noise would get out.
The neighbours, yeah. I did have to open it now and again to try to blow it through and turn the music down, but I just normally forget the drunker everyone's getting. We just leave, be in this fog. I remember there was one night when you was around there with Liz, and it was horrendous in there because you had like hardcore smokers like Herbie, Thomas Schneider, and Mary, you know, and then it would just be like, whoa, thick smoke in there. Cass as well when he got down there.
Oh, and Matt, bloody hell, Matt was big smoker.
Matt's stopped now though, hasn't he? It's amazing.
He hasn't.
He has. Since a while. Since that Learning English album, I went out with him to the supermarket and I was like, "You're not buying any cigarettes, Matt?" "No, I've given up." I was like, "What?" So that was he was an evangelical smoker. Matt was one of those ones who I never thought would give up, and Mary as well, and she hasn't, but maybe hopefully one day she will. But yeah,
well, that's what having kids does for you, I suppose.
Yeah, well, she stopped when she was pregnant, but straight after she's back on it again, you know.
Yeah.
But another thing I was going to ask you is what was like the biggest show you ever played with the boys?
I think it was in a bull ring in Barcelona was a big one. We were on with the Specials.
Right.
And it was, we flew over for it, and it was a big one. There was also that Mont de Marsan festival earlier on, which, bloody hell, what a lineup that had. It was us, The Jam, The Damned, The Clash, Dr. Feelgood, the Police before they were famous. You know, it was the first gig they did. They were 4-piece because they hadn't yet sacked the French guy who started off, but Andy Summers was playing. And that again, that was in although it was in the south of France, that was in a bull ring again.
All right.
So, like, but small beer compared to the ones you've done with Die Totenhosen.
Yeah, no. I just wondered, and you know, and also like, I mean, what was the size that the boys were headlining at that time? What was the
boys were never huge in the 70s. It was a strange thing, you know. We play clubs.
Yeah.
You know, regularly sell out the likes of the Marquee and the Music Machine and what have you, but never really. Yeah. And it was one of the funniest things because, of course, when we came back later on in about 2000, there were loads of bands who'd had hits in the 70s, like 999, Eddie and the Hot Rods, what have you, and they'd be supporting us.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the way it goes.
And we do festivals like that one outside Leipzig. Do you remember when the promoter got struck by lightning? And it was an incredible show because we were playing it, and the rain was coming down, and there was fault lightning coming down everywhere, and there was a huge crowd just getting soaked to the skin. And we were headlining that night, and the Damned had headlined the night before, so that it was strange that the boys came back and we had that level of prestige. Well, I guess it's just a testament to how good the records were, you know, that they sort of lasted the test of time.
That's still going, that festival. It's still happening. I hope they can still carry on after all this, you know, this Corona stuff. I hope they can still survive, but it was really good. Every year it's totally full, banged out with people. It always has a good lineup, you know.
Yeah, it's a good location.
Oh, amazing location. Yeah.
I mean, I've just learned of a festival that we're meant to be playing that isn't cancelled. It's in July. We'll see whether it happens. It's Cubics Festival outside Sunderland, so it'll be good if it takes place.
Well, I saw something about a French one that's coming up. Was that cancelled, or is that still going on?
I don't know.
Oh, I saw you build on a French festival.
It must be an old one. But you played. Yeah. You were good enough to play on my first solo record, Little Big Head, which was brilliant. Again, very important because I had no band, which is one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to play everything on it, but I couldn't play the drums. And it was brilliant that you played on them, did your normal brilliant job, and we wrote a couple more songs together.
That's right.
The one and
Simone.
Called Simone.
But yeah, it was great seeing Tony again. I hadn't seen Tony Barber for a few years. You know, after he'd had his breakfast, he was in a much happier mood. So he was quite
He's a funny bloke. He's so funny the way he gets grumpy. But yeah, it was you two really who were responsible for me actually having a career post the boys. You for the encouragement and drumming on the record, and Tony for essentially, you know, hardly charging at all for the use of his studio to enable me to make a record and teaching me how you make records these days, which are so different to the 70s with the tape machines and everything. And
it's changed a lot since then, hasn't it? I mean, I suppose you can still get hold of tapes. I mean, maybe they're going to start making them again, but there was a point where people were buying up old reel-to-reel tapes because you couldn't get them anymore anywhere.
Oh, I love digital though. I just, you know.
Yeah, it's just so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it just gives you so much freedom, that ability to go back and tinker with it and chop it around and all that business, you know, is brilliant. So you as well as De Totenose and the big love of your life is back with Crisis right now. Yeah,
you know, we're working on the fourth album. I mean, I speak to Dick nearly every day, or certainly every other day, and we're just pinging the ideas backwards and forwards. It's pretty much all together for this fourth album. But I'm doing bits and pieces of another band called Roter Kreis, which is kind of more of a, how would you say? Oh, it's difficult to explain this one. More of a rappy thing, but it's not in the traditional sense. It's quite heavy at the same time. And another one called Toscat, which is, but it's the same music. It's me, UFO, Walter, and Schneider as the musicians. It's just a different singer, but it's completely different music, you know. But
well, you're like most drummers. You're a complete whore.
Yeah, except
everybody, because you can.
I don't get paid half the time, so it's a really cheap whore.
Yeah, well, hitting things is so bloody easy, isn't it? You can hit things along to anybody.
That's right. Just have a couple of bottles of wine and away you go.
Well, I'm going to play a bit of Fighting in Brighton because I love that song. I mean, I love a lot of most of what Crisis has done, not just a lot. But that was one. When did it come out? 2 years ago.
Ooh. It's before 1976 was released, so it's probably a bit longer than that.
All right. No, I remember when it came out. I thought, oh, that is really bloody good.
Yeah, it's a real, the crowd love it. The first time we played it, we just finished writing it when we drew up in the van and went on and played it that night, and the crowd went nuts, and we was like, yeah, we got a winner here.
Yeah, it was a bit like that with me when the first time we played Bombs Away, where it's got that sort of glam rock drums, and everybody, oh god, that's different, and loved it. You know, when you got a winner,
it
happens.
Swapped his little Vespa for a new Cortina. He's wiping 3 kids and his slippers by the fire. Day by day praise, his face is not so ace. I think he loves me, 'cause I'm living his dream. Have you seen him? Oh, do you know where he has gone? I saw him fighting in Brighton.
Crowd just sort of latching on, even though
they perk up,
going, right, yeah, that's it, that's the one.
Yeah.
But, you're on that album number 4 now as well, same as Crisis.
Well, I've released album number 4, came out last May, and I've just been talking to the Lexington about next December, so I could have the most delayed album launch party ever. And this year has been up and down. I had obviously a whole summer of festivals and gigs cancelled last year. Was sort of really disappointing to start with, especially as we were releasing an album. But then I thought, I've got the whole summer off. I'm going to go to France, and I did with the whole family, and that was brilliant, absolutely superb. but I wasn't writing anything and hadn't written anything for about 2 years. And was feeling quite guilty while I was on holiday. Thinking, oh, I should really be writing some songs, and can't be asked. And then when we came back in October, I suddenly started writing, and now I've got 11 real corkers ready for, and I only need about another 5 or 6 to whittle them down to about 13 or 14. And we'd be away again, and it'd be, I always get excited, but I seriously think it could be the best one yet. The songs are really good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're heading in that direction, it's always very encouraging, isn't it? I mean, I thought 1976 was the best one from Crisis up to that point, and so that's really encouraging that you're not going back on yourself, So that was good. So we're looking forward to the fourth one as well, and it's just good to have that release, isn't it? To be able to
I mean, I went through a period. I sort of thought, especially a few weeks ago when the weather was bad, and you sort of locked indoors, thinking, "Oh, can I be bothered to do anything?" But now, as people are sort of, hopefully beginning to talk about things happening again, I'm getting really excited about it. Really excited about getting out playing again.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I mean, it's like my enthusiastic level for being creative and creativity, and it just went down, I just motivation was missing, and I'm sure that's same with a lot of people. I'm trying to sort of self-motivate, but I don't know, we can't meet up. I mean, Dick's in England, and just started getting back together with the Hosen for rehearsals, working on new stuff, just lately, and the whole everyone was just so paranoid, and it wasn't actually legal, the other side, so everyone's kind of locked themselves away a bit, but there's got to be some good that comes out of it,
Well, I don't know whether there will be. It'll be interesting to see how many venues are still going, because goodness knows they've had it hard, and just hope that they're there,
Yeah.
But another bloke who will have missed it, because he played about 900 times a year, that we both are good friends with, is Tim Smith.
I mean, I normally do a yearly thing round the corner here in Dusseldorf, 4 nights. Well, we played 4 shows in 3 days. We did a lunchtime one on the Sunday, and then an evening one on the Sunday as well, and Friday and Saturday as well. And we haven't been able to do that this year, which has been like the first time me and Tim haven't played shows together since fucking, I don't know, 20 years or something, So
last time I saw him was at Monkeys in Hamburg, when we were both on the same bill, and it was really good to see him. And Campy and Andy dropped by that night.
Oh, right.
Well, which was nice to see them. And I've toured South America with him as well. It's always great to see him. Yeah,
I'm sure. He's done an album. He did a lockdown album. So he can't wait to get back out on the road again as well. That's what he did. He was just permanently on the road.
Have you got? Is there anything definite penciled in yet? Or are you just still waiting to see how it goes and what happens?
I mean, we're all hoping we can do something on the 40th anniversary year, which is next year. But I can't say anything about anything at the moment, because no one really knows what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's all difficult. I can't say for sure anything. Nothing's a dead cert anymore. Just fingers crossed. Get back to some level of normality.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing that we were involved in together, which was a surprise for both of us, wasn't it? When poor old Tommy Mamushka died, and it was his anniversary.
Yeah.
Our mutual friend Mariano in Buenos Aires organised a really good video. Got loads of people to sort of sing along to one of Tommy's songs, acoustic version. And we both ended up on it without knowing that we were going to do it.
No, I didn't. When I got the track over and was playing some cajon and a bit of tambourine on it, and then Chino, he said, "Oh, this is for Tommy's. We've done it in time as a tribute and blah blah blah. And here's the finished video, you know. And then I looked at it, there's you fucking TV Smith on there. I was like, I can't get away from these guys.
I know. It was fun for me. It was a chance for me to try out the Spanish.
No, well done. Well, I don't know if it's well done or not. I can't speak it.
They say they can understand it.
No es el modo, solo huellas de razón. Y a tus pies, flores rojas, flores rojas. De tu boca siempre grito de lugar. Eternizado siempre todavía viajarás para ser inmortal. Flores rojas, flores rojas, flores rojas, flores rojas.
So I was really pleased to come across a young lad called Alex Musatov playing the violin on it, who's a genius.
Yeah.
I've got him to put some violin down on a demo, which I'll use. I'll be able to take the violins off the demo and use them on the real track. He's superb. I definitely would love to play with him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully get over to Argentina sometime again, which would be nice.
Well, that was planned for Crisis last year as well. You know, on the after the Hosen shows, what we did the year before was carry on. I stayed there and did Crisis shows. We were going to do the same this time, but everything, you know, got cancelled, so that was the end of that. But
yeah,
we had a great time there, and I love the South American people. They're just fucking amazing.
Well, the crowds in Argentina are just ridiculous, aren't they?
Yeah, their enthusiasm, second to none, really. You know.
Yeah. All right. Well, by the time I've stuck in some videos into this, we'll be well over time. So we'll wrap it up.
All right. It's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Great chatting to you.
Yeah, you two have a great Sunday, and love to the family.
Yeah, we'll do.